Yeah, hello, my people. How you doing? Happy Sunday, all of you. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're watching Chinedu Anichi TV from. And Chinedu Anichi TV family, those of you in Europe, those in Australia, those in Asia, those in Africa, those in Nigeria, those in Enugu, especially those in Osaka. So, how are you doing? Happy New Month, all of you. This is the last month of the year, and today is the first day of the last month of the year. So I wish you happy new month and um, a new year in advance because the next happy new month will be coming uh, in 2025. So happy new month in advance after this one. So my people, I greet you most responsibly and most fundamentally. Remember, my name is Chinedu Anichi, your one and only celebrity CSO. And this is African Voice in Diaspora. Chinedu Anichi TV, streaming live from St. Louis, Missouri, United States of America. So now we are live, and as we are going live, we are live on Instagram now at Chinedu Anichi TV for those of you who want to watch, and on YouTube Chinedu Anichi TV live now as I'm speaking with you. And on Facebook, Chinedu Anichi TV. Just go to these three major platforms now. You will see us live. And today, we'll be having on the show a veteran in medical experience and research personality. So we'll be having Nurse Blessing O. Josiah. Nurse Blessing O. Josiah will introduce himself. Let me not blow his trumpet when he comes. And we have a very sensitive thing to talk about today about the smoking cessation. A lot of people wants to find a solution. A lot of people want to say, well, how will we handle this? Today, tell a brother to tell a brother, tell a friend to tell a friend. We'll be handling issues, especially information resulting from the most recent research on smoking cessation. And we will be hearing from Blessing O. Josiah. May I have the privilege to invite on this show Blessing O. Josiah? I'm
Thank
Blessing you.
you,
Welcome.
thank you, thank you so much, the
Yeah.
chief himself. I'm really grateful and excited to be here once again. Like you said, I'll introduce myself. My name is Blessing O. Josiah. I'm from Nigeria. Presently, I reside in the Turks and Caicos Island. I'm a registered nurse trained in Nigeria, and I've also advanced my education beyond my basic bachelor's and doing international public health, healthcare management, healthcare administration, and other medically related educational pursuits. In addition to that, I'm very, very, very vast with research and also a clinical practitioner. Presently, I'm mostly focused on education and academics in terms of health research and nursing education. I'm really glad to be here today, and I believe before the end of this show, we'll have reasons to say we're glad to have joined. So stay on the screen, continue to contribute, and stay focused, pay attention as we learn. If you have anything to also add to it, please feel free to do so. This is a learning process. It's an open system. We learn from each other every day. Nobody is an excellent or the only person who knows it all. We just learn from each other. So thank you, Chinedu Anichi, the boss himself, for having me here today. And I believe we'll make do of the hours we have at hand.
Okay, my people, you can see as today you have live and direct, the show, Blessing O. Josiah, a fulfillment of my promise that I continue to give you educative, life-saving content in this Chinedu Anichi TV. I know what I passed through to go to the island, to the island in Caribbean to figure out this man, to bring him to this show. And we'll be having today the crucial challenges of smoking cessation. That's what we'll be discussing today. For those of you who used to come on here. Come on here. And tell a friend to tell a friend. You know now, those who do openly and those who do by the side, and those who stay with those who do so, even without doing. So this is your show. So let somebody know. Let somebody know. Okay. Today, normally today we're supposed to be having our dear sister and my co-host, Tambari Fowler. And today, Tambari will not, because Tambari has gone on vacation. If you look at her, you will know that she's a vacation person. So she is on vacation, and I will stand in for her and until she comes back. So Blessing is here today. By next week, hopefully, I know Tambari will be back in the show. So, my people, so today we'll be talking about very crucial point, which has to do with smoking cessation. And we'll have a Blessing Josiah here. So, Blessing, before you go ahead, what inspired you into all these certifications, specializations, nursing, medical practice, all this that you have mentioned that you have acquired both in Nigeria and in the Caribbean? What inspired you into all this specialization?
Well, thank you for that question. The needs, the people's needs. Growing up, I saw a lot of gaps in healthcare. You know where we came from. So there were needs, public health needs. Even till today, they are still there. I look at data. I look at people's feedback. I look at how people are interacting with the system, the outcome on health. And I couldn't just fold my hand and just sit and sit back. From close relatives to further off people or persons, it's been a lot about what the people need, a lot about what people are really passing through. The will usually would come by knowing. And I personally empowered myself with the help of various organizations and agencies to also be an agent of change, having identified these gaps in the society today, which so many persons are not even speaking about. Over the years, I've seen changes in attention drifting from one focus for public health internationally to another, and we keep going like that. Presently, the WHO is really working hard to make sure that we eradicate nicotine, smoking, and other tobacco, and everybody is just focusing there right now. But this is not a battle you just fight overnight. It's something you have to prepare yourself for. So over the years, I've been looking at this data and I've been following up in terms of healthcare, how to help people make crucial decisions. Because as you may know, in the healthcare system, we that are there providing the care for the patients on the bedside, sometimes we see these critical decisions that patients have to make, and you feel like this is really difficult. All you can do is to lend that support to them. So over the years, that's why I've taken that liberty to really build myself to be able to give the best of the best to patients. That's the evidence-based practices, and which are actually mostly based on research and educational advancements. And I am a lifelong learner, and I still continue to learn and pushing the boundaries.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Thank you. And that's a good inspiration. But um, considering the experiences or the educational processes that give birth to all these certifications you can boast of, or you can make reference to demonstrating on humility. Going through acquiring these certifications, those you did in Nigeria and those you did in Caribbean, are there challenges you think um, is transparent in Nigeria process of education that need to be worked on?
Well, truly talking about education, I've studied not just in the Caribbean, by the way. I did my first master's degree in Zambia. I did the second in the UK, and I'm doing my PhD in Guyana and Nicaragua. So I've also done a lot of programs with Harvard University, US, and all that. So the difference is always there. I'm not saying Nigerian education system is backward, but there's a lot that needs to be done. And recently, I must say that a lot of developments are going on. I was in contact with some of the leaders of some educational sector in the country, some vice chancellors and some principals of schools of nursing. When I speak with these persons, I see the dreams they have for the programs is really, really massive. And all we need now is the enabling environment to push. Like I said, it hasn't been always like this. And at the time we studied, it's all mechanical. You study from the papers. You really do the work. And today things are changing. I saw that Delta State University, my alma mater, actually hosted a program on AI integration in healthcare in education recently, and I was impressed. I spoke to the vice chancellor, and she was like, "Oh, that's a very welcome development." So I believe Nigeria can improve. There's still whole room for improvement. My experience outside is different. Yes, it's different. I have schooled there. I know how the system is. I mean, come to think of it, Harvard University is one of the top universities in the world, and when you lecturers and interactions, the materials, the things are totally, you know, they're seamless. They are always smooth, and that is the experience I'm actually trying to bring back home. That's why I'm actually in communication with those leaders in the education sector back in Nigeria. I'm trying to make sure that, okay, I've learned these things, I've gone through these trainings. How do I benefit the people or the students back home? How do I help the institutions back home? If not in the entire country, at least in my state, how do I assist in upgrading the programs? And so I'm doing that. Let's not just focus on the part that, oh, the programs are, or the schools are maybe a little way, there's a gap between what they are and what other countries have. I think the best focus is to be like, okay, what do we have on ground, and what have you experienced outside, and how can you help us to improve this? And that's where I stand, really.
Wow, that's great. So I am so happy that you acknowledge that there's a big difference, and but you're not giving up. So that's what is important. You're not giving up. You still believe in Nigeria, and I'm happy you are doing so. So thank you for that. And I want to ask you something. When I invited you this time and you chose this topic, what do you intend to achieve at the end of the day?
All right, so I'm going to go by data. That's my area. So smoking is actually a very, very dangerous thing, but also a very difficult thing to quit, right? Especially if you have immersed yourself in that habit. And that is one side of the equation. On the other side, it's a very dangerous thing, right? I was looking through some medical articles and journals in the past, like about 6 months ago or thereabout, and the data was showing that 90% of lung cancer cases in the United Kingdom are associated with smoking, right? Now, there was discrepancy between men and female. In fact, the female own is even about 1 in every 16 persons, and then for the male, it's about uh, 1 in every 12 or so thereabouts. So, and then we have these association with the seriousness of the disease itself. So if an individual comes to the clinic or the hospital and they do an X-ray right now, you would be more likely to get a cancer of the lung if the person is a smoker and there is a lump, or you are seeing a nodule, or a nodule on the X-ray. That is a sign that there's something in the lung. But if the person is not a smoker, it's not up to 50 something years and all that, the chances also reduce that, okay, this may not be a cancer, it may just be something else. So when I have looked through this data and how much association smoking had with other lung diseases, such as what we call the chronic bronchitis, emphysema, which combine to form what we call the chronic obstructive pulmonary diseases (COPD), and how we struggle to tell patients to really give up this activity of smoking. I felt it would be even worth more to come to this show and explain to the public, not only just live, because I know you have this thing up there and it's going to keep running over the years, and people will continue to watch and they will benefit from it. The will is really, really what I want to help people to build. That is my aim of choosing the topic.
Wow. Okay. Yeah, right into the business. Now you've given us a reason why we should be able to believe and what we intend to achieve after the whole exercise, and um, and that is awesome. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so Josiah, are you still with me? Josiah, are you still with me? Hello, Josiah, are you still with me? Are you still with me?
There was an interruption on my side.
Okay, so I just okay, so let's go straight to why we're here today, and that's the issue of the sensation established by smoking and how dangerous it is and how it can be avoided. I want to ask you, what are some of the most significant physical and psychological challenges that individuals face when trying to quit smoking, and how can these challenges be addressed?
Hmm, that's a very, very huge question, but I'm going to break it down step by step. And please give me the time. Um, you said physical and psychological. Those are
Yeah, it's your show. It's your
separate
show. Take your time.
separate
It's your show.
states. So I am going to be taking it step by step. First of all, I don't know if you want to address the social part of it, but let me just start from what you have asked me. When it comes to smoking, your body over time continue to adjust to smoke, nicotine specifically. Now, I just use adjust, but I'm going to talk about the pump, the push that occurs first. Let's put it this way: you go out to smoke once in a while, let's say during your break hours at work, and then you get this nicotine into your blood within 10 to 20 seconds, you're already up there, like you are functioning, like it's taking you up high. And then you go back into your office and you start running your work and doing that, and within 2 hours that nicotine would have dropped back again, and you feel that that psychological dependence is one of the biggest challenges people have or people face with smoking. As you smoke, the nicotine builds up, and then after a while it drops back, and then you crave it. That craving is the psychological one of the psychological part of it. Now, also not just the that craving alone, it also impacts the aspect of your brain that deals with anxiety, depression, and all that. That when you actually stop taking it, you start feeling like you are low on energy. You start feeling anxious. Some people will even start physically, you see them fidgeting and their body is shaking because they want to have this and they want to take it. That's the withdrawal symptom of this nicotine. That's one challenge. Another challenge would be, in fact, the entire functionality of the individual in terms of how ability to concentrate on things begin to dwindle as they don't take this nicotine. And the term mental health or psychiatric term we call anhedonia. That means the person begin to lack interest in things that they usually enjoy. You call them, tell them to join the social activities, they don't want to, they are not able to really function. You play them their very best music, they cannot dance to it or even note to it because that interest is gone. Those are all impacts of smoking, and the list is endless. Actually, it is endless. So now, coming back again, when you say psychological challenge, for ladies most especially, because the data tend to support most of ladies, you see that some persons, when they smoke, they have tendency to drop weight over time. And because if they quit the smoking, they feel like they will gain back the weight. That's psychological belief, and which of course is true to an extent, and you can actually look for other solutions to that, which is part of the solution I'm going to discuss about. You see people who smoke refusing to quit because they don't want to put on the weight. That's also a physical issue and also tied to psychological challenges. And then peer pressure, people being around other persons. I would have loved to discuss that under social factors, which is of course it is that's what it is, but because physically you have this connection with other persons, especially the youth and the young individuals, when they are in the society, they feel like, oh, if the others smoke, I don't belong. So that psychological belief of I'm less than them, or so that person takes 5 raps, I can only take one, that means I'm weaker. They tend to want to meet up with that expectation. That alone also drive people into doing more of smoking than they should. And that is a factor again in terms of trying to quit, because as you try to quit and your peers are also continues to do the same thing, you cannot, because the impact is there. That's it begins to tell on you, because they are your friends, or they are your colleagues, or they are your family members. So these are like some of the things. Physical, geographical location has become one of the excuses that, I mean, I won't use excuses because sometimes they are valid excuses, but we just need to know what we want for ourselves, and also then and what really would impact our health. Coming to that, I would say people move from Nigeria, for instance, to the UK or Canada or the cold part of US or any other country, and they say, "Oh, I need smoke to really keep warm." And of course, that's kind of justifiable, because you pop this and then it goes into your blood and just ramp up the whole blood system, and you feel that surge in energy, which also comes with the use of coffee as for some individual, and you feel the cold is gone. But at the same time, you have forgotten that as you're doing that, you are actually destroying your peripheral blood vessels. The blood vessels at the end, tip of your hand, your foot, and your legs, rather, and they are being actually destroyed with time. And you can come down with some medical conditions, which actually are also very dangerous. And you want to avoid these things if possible. So there are these tendencies for these physical climatic challenges, peer pressure, and physical need of the body in terms of how you look or how you feel in your head, what you are, how you are, the anxiety and the dependency, the withdrawal syndromes to keep people running on this circle. You keep on this merry-go-round over and over for you to want to get that feeling, and over time that becomes the biggest challenge for people to actually quit. And if you want me to go straight to the solutions, because I think the problems we haven't really covered all the problems. If you want me to also go there, I can go there. But just to give us a heads up about the various challenges that people would have been facing, and I think I would give you a chance to also speak a bit, and then I'll come back and touch more on the social problems, and then I will face the solution aspect of it.
Okay. Yeah, I think what you are a specialist in this matter. I don't really just want to start coming in between you so much, but I think this first question triggers a lot. Let's see what the solution looks like.
All right, great. Since we are going to solution, I will quickly touch the social aspect of it again a little bit more, and then I will touch the solution. Now, when I said smoking can actually cause you to be sick, that's a fact, and it's something indisputable. Like I mentioned before, 90% of lung cancer cases, based on verified data from the UK, are tied to smoking, which means if you get cancer of 100%, 90 of them would have smoked before on or now. And the problem is, if you quit smoking, the risk drops gradually. It's not limited, it's not eliminated, but it drops. Now let's put that by the corner in our shelf, because we're going to pull it out a little. We're going to look at it again shortly. Coming to the social impact, because some persons say, I want to take a smoke break. You are working in the office, and at maybe 1 p.m., you take a smoke break. Now, that habit, it becomes a trigger for you. So you must know that trigger. If you associate your break time with smoking, you are just tying two things together. Because first of all, your break time is never going to go away. You're going to have to always have a break at work. Now, when you tie smoking to it, it becomes a challenge, because you are telling yourself that anytime you get a break, you have to go smoke. So one thing you need to do is to separate that. And one way to do that is to think of it this way. If I go to the break room, or there's a smoke area, and I will always meet smokers, I will always perceive the smell of cigarettes if that's what you smoke. And if you can actually try to avoid, change your location first of all. So if you have made up your mind that you want to quit smoking, then change the location first. Start from that. I don't go to break. I don't break in the smoke room. I don't break in this area anymore because other persons will be there smoking. So let me just shift. That social separation also would help you massively in your decision to quit smoking. Number one. Number two is look at verified sources that can things that can help you to quit smoking. For instance, remember your cycle of nicotine pump going up and down in your body, in your blood, and it's what is really driving you to come back to take this cigarette. So if you meet specialists who can actually help you with smoke cessation programs, which we have all over different hospitals, just enroll. Then, if need be, they can put you on some nicotine skin patch or something that will deliver this nicotine at a very minute volume to your blood and keep you just at a moderate level over time so you can tamper off the nicotine and then you can quit finally. But while you are doing this, you still have to avoid, because the same thing applies to drinking alcohol, because there are medications we can actually give to you in the hospital, and then when you see alcohol, you feel like throwing up. What if this happens over time, 3 months time, you are the medication, you are no longer on it, and then the craving comes back? You have to go, you fall back to that relapse. So you make the decision to quit and then seek help. Some persons are really because when you started this program, you mentioned that some persons smoke publicly, others smoke privately without letting others know. When you don't own up to that challenge you are having, that you are smoking in the first place, it's very difficult for you to want to actually seek help. And I want to say to the young adults out there, especially those still around the teenagers around 20 or less, 25 or less, it's even much easier for you to quit right now. It's just a matter of saying, I don't want to do this thing anymore. And then you can really, really stop it. And try as much as possible to stay away from the connections, your friends who do it. If they, especially if they don't share the same belief with you, they don't want to quit, stay away from them. And then seek help. If you have tried on your own and it's not working, then seek professional assistance. I believe in Lagos, Benin, Abuja, there are other healthcare providers in Nigeria and even abroad. Of course, that is one of the most available services abroad in the hospital. It's just a matter of you asking, you can get it. All right. So that being said, I still want to let you know, because the social impact, the financial impact of smoking is huge. In fact, a study conducted by some researchers says that one of the motivation for people that want to quit smoking, one of them is the cost of smoking, and people always play down that. Oh, I spent $5 a day to smoke, and then what is that? I mean, yeah, if you have the money, it's nothing for you. But let's look at it. That is the direct cost. Now, let's say you are smoking in your house and you have children, and most of the times you do it, and your children or your wife inhale this smoke, and it's affecting their health indirectly, and you are also putting them at risk for cancer or other diseases that I have mentioned before, including all those COPD at later age. The cost of managing COPD annually is in billions from the United States perspective, right? Because the patient has to always like carry oxygen tank around, have medications to always protect them from all these infections, have things to clean the cough or the sputum, or what we call the phlegm, to come out from the chest. It's a whole lot of process, and it costs a lot of money. So that's an indirect cost to smoking, right? And then, of course, Raynaud phenomenon, which of course has been shown to be tied to smoking so much that you come out, your fingers are bluish. Yeah, it's like they are falling off because of nicotine tying up your blood vessels, making them narrow because the blood is not reaching your fingers as it should anymore. And then you just quit smoking within a week or so. These things are resolving. There's no proof higher than that. There's no proof greater than that you can function less, or you will function less if you're having those cramps in your hand, in your legs. Your job can be affected, and your performance can be reduced. Now, how about the psychological part? You are in an office, you are working, and you cannot sit still because you just really need to smoke. You cannot stay on your maybe your computer, you work on a computer, you cannot sit still, you cannot focus because you just need to smoke. How is it affecting your performance? These are some of the things we also look at, and we tell you that the cost is much and quitting is important. And not just that, socially, you see people pop things they don't know, or even sometimes they know, and within minutes of doing that, they can easily get into violence, altercation, quarrel, fights, and other things, lack of control. This goes hand in hand with other drugs. And studies have shown also that people who smoke, are chain smokers, sometimes have higher tendency to also try out other substances, especially if smoking is combined with alcohol. So your chances of being to go into hard drugs is even higher than a regular person who does nothing. So these are all challenges. Organically, I cannot say it enough. Like I really wish I can kneel down and beg persons who do it because I've seen over the years that when you talk to people about smoking, it's they don't see it as a challenge. Only when we begin to have health problems, sometimes they now begin to think like, okay, I think this is something I need to consider stopping. And in fact, like you mentioned in one of our previous episodes, like, oh, why do doctors not take care of themselves? I have a friend who is actually a physician, and that is really weird. And the person knows that smoking is dangerous and that. But that's how difficult it is to quit. In fact, as I speak to you, every 3 months, this person intends to quit, and it continues. I will stop, I will stop, I will stop, I will stop, I will stop. It never stops, right? So these are things I'm telling you. That's ability to challenge that behavior and work on it is difficult. So starting early enough is very important, and that actually helps a lot if you make up your mind and set up the support system. Your family, it could be your wife, it could be your parents, it could be your children, it could be your neighbors. Like, just help me. Or if that doesn't work, officially go to professionals, tell them, and they will help you out. So that's it for now. Let me hear more from you. Over. You are muted, sir. You are muted, sir.
Yeah, hello. Thank you for this wonderful explanation. I said people are really picking interest in this topic from their reactions in their comment section, both in those on Facebook, those on YouTube, and those on Instagram. So, oh my God. So, I think this topic is a very, very important topic for the people, and from what I'm seeing here. So, yeah, somebody says this is a very good topic for discussion. There are so many young people into smoking. Tamara Hilton, then Mickey Brown, Mickey, interesting program. Um, Judek said, "Good evening, gentlemen in the house." Okay. The other one said, "Fantastic." A lot of people on Instagram, people are reacting. Queen Mother, you are there. Official Blessed Jovia, you are there. Harry the Pride, you're there. Avares Lazis, you're there. Stable Boy, Henry Ike. I can't mention all your names. Sexy Crush 24, Real Estate Immobile, Chris Tudor, Ayorinde, Informer 99, and all of you. Thank you for coming to watch. And you can see we are discussing a life-saving topic today. So your attention, and also refer to some other people to join us live, please, so that this message will go down and get the expected result. While I took time to go to the Caribbean and get this young man. God bless you as we further. Thank you for participating as I go back to this song. So, my brother, going forward, nicotine withdrawal is often cited as a major obstacle to smoking cessation. Nicotine withdrawal is often cited as a major obstacle to smoking cessation. Can you discuss some effective strategies for managing nicotine cravings and withdrawal symptoms?
Okay. That's the really really bulk of the problem is actually nicotine withdrawal. Um, and withdrawal happens across board for all substances used, uh, including cigarettes, even people who smoke weed, people who take higher drugs like the hard drugs, all have to go through withdrawal. Now, understanding withdrawal symptoms is the first key to actually overcoming that syndrome or the symptoms. If you know what it is, then you can deal with it. So, first of all, when you take this nicotine, it seems like the blood vessels in your brain are blowing up, or that like they are really opening up. When you stop taking it and you are withdrawing, it feels like everything is crashing on you. That feeling is okay, it's normal. If you are on your journey to quitting, don't get it. Don't feel like the whole world is going to crash on you. It's temporary. It's going to take some time, and that feeling is going to wear out gradually if you are patient enough. But patience is one thing that is not very, very common among people, chain smokers, because they want to go back to the high level. They feel like they are losing grips of life. They are losing their life. They are losing the control of their themselves. So that's because of that, they want to rush back to take that same nicotine to feel to get that feel again. So my advice, first of all, is know that this is a withdrawal symptom and it's going to end soon. Right? Having that in your mind will help you very much. In fact, that is like 90% of the problem is solved. Now the next problem is, how severe is your withdrawal syndrome? Your nicotine withdrawal will be as high as much as the amount of nicotine you take and how long you have been consuming it. So don't expect somebody who started smoking last week to have the same amount of withdrawal as somebody who has been smoking for 30 years, or somebody who have had a 30-pack year of smoking, which is two different things. If you smoke for 2 weeks and you consume a whole container of cigarettes, your pack year of smoking may be more than 20 years, even if you are only smoke for 2 weeks, because you are consuming too much or consuming a whole lot. That's the right expression. But for other persons who are just who just started with a little stick, maybe one stick in 1 week, and then they just dropped it, they can easily just walk away and stop this smoking these cigarettes. So bear that in mind. How long have you been doing this? How much habits have you built around it? That's how much your brain is going to crave for it when you are even eating sugar. Eating sugar, it can actually cause withdrawal syndrome for individuals. People don't even know that. That's how serious things are. So if you are somebody that consumes a lot of sugar, you put it in your food, you put it in your tea, you put it in your everything. When you reduce or try to stop it, you crave for it. So craving is normal. Then what's next? If you cannot overcome the craving based on your personal will and decision, and you are sure this is what you want, that's why I mentioned look for help. Some persons go about going to get nicotine patch from over the counter, put it on their body, and because of the psychological demand, you want maybe 50 micrograms per liter in your blood, and your patch is only delivering 10 micrograms. Then you still feel that withdrawal still ongoing at a certain level. So you want to overuse. You want to put on multiple patches on your skin to just meet that demand. That is you still misusing nicotine. So if you seek professional help, they can actually dose you on those patches, and help you. Not only there are benefits of doing that. One, you remove like more than 80% of the problems of smoking, apart from nicotine, because there are a lot of other chemicals in smoke, plus the soot itself, some tar and other things that will come from that burning that you would have taken into your lungs, which actually reduce your ciliary function. When I mean ciliary function, I'm talking about your lungs have some brush on it that help to brush your cough, like the layman word, cough, to bring it up. So those mucus that would come up are being propelled by your cilia, which is some cell projections, very tiny like brush. You can't see it with your eyes, really. It brushes them upward. So when it comes to your where you can feel it, then you you take it out and you can throw it off or whichever way you want to do with it. When you smoke by burning cigarettes, the effect of that smoke just erodes that brush border, and it makes it smooth instead of being pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium, as we call it in histology. It becomes a smooth, or what we call the what's it called now? The word is just escaped my mind. It becomes a flat type of epithelium. That's the word I'm trying to get, but it becomes flat. The cilia is lost, right? It becomes just ordinary flat cell, and it's smooth, like just smooth. And then nothing, everything that goes into whether you inhale
We know what is a brush now, so I don't know the grammar, but please,
yes,
you're trying to say you cannot brush again.
Yeah, it cannot longer brush it up. So you just
so the mucus will remain there, it won't come up again.
It goes down and just
that's a layman's understanding anyway.
Yes, that's deep. So it's not a simple stratified epithelium becomes this sort of pseudo-stratified columnar epithelium becomes simple epithelium that is just smooth, and then your everything you have in you breathe in just continue to deposit in your chest, and then your cell, the membrane through which you exchange oxygen, also they are all affected. They become dark, thickened because of the mucus deposition. Also, some cells also come in. The macrophages come in to pick up the debris of the tar you are smoking, the smoke that passed through. They pick it up, and sometimes they cannot leave because their actual services is to come, pick things up, digest it, and sometimes they die doing so. So over time, this thing builds up in your lungs and begins to affect you, and you start coughing, hacking cough. You cannot cough things out, just you cannot bring it out. So these are all dangerous. So it's not only about nicotine. Once that nicotine you have ceased the smoke, nicotine itself is cut off, which can be replaced by patches. That is an advantage because, of course, you are no longer taking the smoke and you are not experiencing all these things I just explained. So you are halfway done. Compliance is another thing. You must be very, very, very objective and serious about your decision. Like, friends, dudes, guys, I ain't doing this thing anymore. This is me. I've made my decision and stand by that decision. There will be pressure from yourself first. You have to resist. And then pressure from friends, pressure from team neighbors, pressure from colleagues, pressure from even neighborhoods and other. Because sometimes you just sit outside and the smell comes and be like, whew, that's my brand. No, it's no longer your brand. You have to just focus and let it pass. All right. So that assistance with nicotine patch can help you to put your brain at a certain function and then keep you cool until you can tamper it out gradually. Your physician or whoever is prescribing would lower it over time until they take you off it completely. So that is my advice. And then apart from the nicotine replacement therapy, you can actually distract yourself with activities that you like, you love. Distract yourself, engage in activities, sweat it out. Instead of depending on nicotine, build up dopamine. Let dopamine be released in a very high amount. Go to the gym, go play football, watch the movies you like where they are not really smoking. If you can screen that out, be with your loved ones and just let that dopamine, let it continue to pump out, and you will feel better with time. So those things really help.
Wow, that's good. Bless you, Josiah. And I hope you people are listening. Yeah, Gabriel, how are you? Someone that is addicted on smoking. Somebody, Tamara Hayton, he said, what can parents do to help teenagers are smoking? We will come to that. But the question I have for you now from the studio is, many people who try to quit experience relapse. What are some common triggers for relapse, and how can individuals develop a plan to avoid or manage these triggers?
Thank you very much. The answer is actually in the question. Avoid, first of all. So when you avoid as the first step, and then if it becomes something it's beyond your power, the management then also very likely beyond you. So you need to seek professional help. I'll use Nigeria as an example. A lot of persons don't know that they need help with doing these things because they see it as basic. It's my life, I can do whatever I want, start and stop at any time. But the truth is, the services are there. They are there in the hospital. Ask questions, you will get the services. They will help you. When you relapse, it means that your trigger, it's either your trigger are too heavy for you to bear, or your will is not solid enough to quit, right? Because I've seen people who they actually have problem. Organically, they have problem. Really, they know the smoke is actually the cause. But on the hospital bed, you still see them say, can I get smoke outside? Like, that's how serious it is. And they know their problem. So you the decision is something you really, really, really need to be sure about. Are you what first of all, lay it out. If you have time, sit down. Just sit down, take a piece of paper, draw a table. We say advantage versus disadvantages. Write number one, what is advantage of smoking? Try to write five, just five, and then go to the other side. Write what are the advantages of or disadvantages of smoking, and see if the list will compare. It will not. If you don't have the answer on your own, try to just open Google. Just Google for one type, a line. You will see a whole lot of information. So, people awareness creation, support system, the willingness to quit, removing the trigger in the first place. Like, you cannot be married to a smoker and you are quitting and your partner is not quitting. Like, that's a recipe for disaster, because the house is going to be really giving off that cigarette smoke, which is one of the trigger to really bring you back to smoking. That smoke. If possible, just go buy yourself mask or encourage your partner to stop, because as long as you inhale that smoke, trust me, you are not going to quit. And let's say individuals who go to places like bar, restaurants where they allow smoking. If you know, I usually eat at so and so place, or I usually go to so and so place on Sunday or Friday afternoons, and this is where I hang out with some of my folks. If smoking is allowed in that place, change the location. Look for another place, and that where you won't encounter smokers, especially at the early stage of your decision to quit. Once you have mastered the habits of not smoking, because it's all about habits. They say whatever you do for about 60 days become a habit. You don't need to stress yourself to do it, you just do it. So if you have mastered the act of not smoking over a period of sustained time, then you can then begin to, like, okay, fine, I know I'm not doing this, and probably you can try it out. But I do not still advise, if you can live without going to those places for that period of time, certainly you can actually live without those places for real, instead of putting yourself at a risk to go back into smoking, which is hazardous to yourself and people around you. And of course, to the generation to come, because like I always say, if you die early, your children will suffer, and the ripple effect continues, right? So it's all about decisions. It's all about understanding yourself. It's all about seeking help. It's all about knowing where to go and where not to go. It's all about all those things. And I believe that with those being checked, you will do better at quitting.
Okay, thank you, my brother. And moving on again, I want to say, how important is social support in the smoking cessation process? And what
Now,
role can family, friends, and support groups play in helping individuals stay on track with their quit plan?
that's a very important question. I'm going to tie it to the question from Tamara in the group chat, right? Now, because she asked how can parents support the children, which is social system. First of all, the secret to helping addicts, whether you like it or not, you're a smoker, you cannot quit, you are addicted, right? So I'm not judging you, but the truth is, the secret to helping young or old individuals, whether they are teenagers, whether they are adults, or even they are old, because some persons are in their 70s, they want to stop this thing, but they cannot stop it. The secret is to, first of all, acknowledge the fact that they are struggling. Don't come with that judgmental spirit. If I see you with that, like, first of all, ask questions. Why cigarette? Why are you doing this? Come to their level, try to understand what the struggle is. Is it because they want to feel evolved or they want to belong? Or is it because they are going through some stress and somebody would have advised them that this will help you, help you solve these problems? It can help keep your mind up and running. Like they say in Africa, you feel high, or Jamaican slangs, right? You feel high. Now, these things must be identified, the source of the problem. When you have done the root analysis, then you then, as a parent or as a support system, cannot draft plans. First of all, your plans to support the person, and secondly, your plans with the person to go through the process. Now, you cannot go to an individual, because I see a lot of, when I was growing up, I see persons, I will use a very close person in my, later who quitted the use of tobacco. They used to send us as children, go and buy tobacco from the neighboring village, right? And they will give us the money. We just take our bicycle and we go and buy it and bring it. So men of God will come and be like, tobacco smoking is a sin, you don't need to do it again, and all that. So we agreed. As children, we all agreed that, okay, we're not going to be helping these adults to get this thing anymore. But you know where the problem is. If you refuse as a child or as a child in the neighborhood to help the elderly ones to get this tobacco, which they use very often, they would devise means to go and get other children to do it. And when they do it, this is how it goes. When those children go for them, when they come back, they give them tips. Now you are carried away like, oh, I would have gotten that tip if I actually went. So it becomes a big problem, because as a child, you don't really know the real implication of these tobacco and other things. And if you don't really do it, and even those children refuse because you probably scare them away, stop doing this thing, then they go to the market and buy in bulk. Like, okay, today's market days, 5-day time, they buy it in bulk that they will use until the next market, and then they'll come back again and buy. So how did we support these persons to quit information exposure? Stylishly bringing information without being judgmental. Like I started with, I said 90% of lung cancers in the UK is associated with smoking. Put that before the person to see by themselves. Not you, you're not judging. You just let them see this information. Now, show them how smoking can increase your chances of lung infections, not just cancers now. Because, of course, the mucociliary system is diminished. It's no longer working perfectly. Show them how smoking can make you to lose your fingers over time. Let them see how smoking can make you to develop other cancers, including ovarian cancer for ladies who smoke, including, in fact, metastasis of cancer from the lung can go to the brain and can kill you very much sooner than you expect. And then let them see the outcome of people who have cancer of the lung is worse than every other cancer that I know. In fact, 90% mortality rate means if you have a lung cancer that is metastatic, or even especially small cell lung cancer, which we call the SCLC, you are actually at a higher, the risk of death within 5 years is almost like 100% certain. So why, although SCLC is one of the most dangerous ones I'm just referencing, but why would you subject yourself to this death? So stylishly flood your system. Let's say you have a teenager who watches program, and you have YouTube for under 18 and other. You can Google these things on their system, like check on their system to flood the algorithm into their playlists. Flood the algorithm into their playlist. For adults, you can do the same. Just pick up their gadgets, keep pulling these things out. Over time, they start seeing this algorithm running on their system over and over and over, and that can help. Now, like I said, don't start with judgment, start with information. Now, identify the source, why the person is doing it. Secondly, identify the sources or resources you can use to help them. In the hospital, on clinical environment, we don't make decisions on behalf of patients. No matter what we know is wrong with you, we can never tell you this is what you must do. We tell you this is what you should do or you need to do. Oh, you need a surgery, and the surgery is like, this is the risk, this is the benefits. You decide on your own, right? But because teenagers, like, that's a special group of persons, are still more like, cannot make decisions for themselves. If you speak to them, you try to stop them, they are not just seek help with any organizations around you, social system that can actually help you, medical system that can help you work with that, because sometimes it's beyond the parents to really figure out what is wrong with this child. It could be some stress going on in their life that you cannot identify. So psychological therapy in terms of counseling can help, and in that regard. But for adults who actually can make decisions on their own, come to them in the name of peace and identify with them. Because like I said, when we were children and we were trying to protest against those elders who were using tobacco, it did not work. They look for other ways. But when we started coming in with information and showing them, I know a lot of them that quitted on their own without even pressure. They just stopped because, one of them actually developed peptic ulcer, and we told her that, you see, peptic ulcer can be caused by tobacco use. In fact, it's directly tied to it. So why don't you just stop? And when she vomited blood like twice, she changed her mind and started working on it and reducing it, because it's the same nicotine, right? So these things help, but you don't want people to go to that extreme of being affected and having to pass through the stress of going through admission or even risking death before they will agree. If you have somebody struggling with addiction to smoking, try to flood your area, your environment, with information that will help them to come to the realization that, okay, smoking is bad. Once they agree that, okay, smoking is bad, I would like to quit, then take that opportunity. Don't play with it. Take it and run with it. Help them to push them to resources, help them to meet people that will help, organizations that will help them to identify the strengths and weaknesses, and even dig more, because everybody's not an expert. We are not all experts in smoke cessations. There are persons who specialize in it and they know where the challenge. In fact, they can look at your face, and with the sweat distribution over your face, they can know that you are having serious withdrawal, and they know what to tell you, how to help you. So it's all about knowing the resources and giving open mind towards these persons without judgment. Over.
That's great. That's great. That's great. Yeah, thank you, Blessing Josiah. I hope you are listening to him. I know, just like I said before, I know what it took me to go to the Caribbean and get this wonderful Nigerian and give him a voice to communicate. That's the essence of this platform. African voice in diaspora. We have a lot of resource men and women scattered over the world, and they don't talk. Some of them who might not have opportunity to go to all these big medias, especially the big social media wings, that you spend a lot to go there and talk to you people. We have decided to come and offer our platform to them to communicate with you. So today we have one of them, Blessing Josiah, and Blessing is doing justice to this topic, the challenges of smoking cessation. And you agree with me, he's really dealing with it. Moving forward, I want to say, what are some of the latest evidence-based treatments and therapies for smoking cessation? And how can individuals access these resources to support their quit journey?
All right, thank you very much. Well, like we said, science moves very rapidly. Even if I say something here now, there could be something else going on that I have not even looked at. So, for difficult smokers, people who have difficulty quitting, I think the most used therapy now is the nicotine patch, nicotine replacement therapy for skin. You put it on your skin instead of smoking, and that helps you to calm you and walk you through the quitting process. Some scientists are saying it's not even helping much, because some persons still feel high, and when the nicotine is removed, they still want to go back to smoke. That is, I feel the therapy protocols plays a role there. How was it used? Was it same dose over 90 days? Was it dose reduced gradually and the individual monitored? Those are some things I've looked through literatures and see the differences also exist. If an individual is placed on nicotine patch, like I mentioned before, and you are using maybe certain amounts, maybe 100 microgram per deciliter, which I'm not quoting correct value right now, just an example, then you, as a doctor, want to start reducing that to 90 after like 2 weeks or 3 weeks or so, depending on the protocol you are using. Reduce it gradually and gradually and gradually. The person still feels like the need reduce, the nicotine is reducing. So when the person finally reaches zero, or you want to take the person off, the urge is so minor that they don't need to go back to fulfill that nicotine urge. But if you give somebody a patch and they use the same thing over a period of 6 months or maybe 1 year, and then suddenly you are taking it off, trust me, you are still doing the same thing as smoking. Person will go back. And it applies to a whole lot of medication we give in the hospital, especially steroids. When you give steroids to patients, you don't want to take the patient off the steroids, because when you do it one time, the organs producing it would have actually start to rely on that external source, especially your adrenal, suprarenal gland. They'll be like, oh, we have enough in the blood. They sense it and they stop working. Over time, the gland shrinks because it doesn't need to work. But as soon as you remove the steroid from outside source, the person is not ready to produce because the organ is resting, has gone dormant. The person goes into a serious crisis, right? So that is the same thing with smoking. You want to make sure you have that therapy done properly, not just the nicotine, but the support system that goes with the nicotine quitting. Now, there is something that is very, very, very tricky. I want to mention it here, but if you are quitting smoke, please try to also stay away from coffee and other things that has those tendency to put you there. Now, because when you take them, they really go, and especially coffee goes in and just burn a lot of glucose in your blood, and then you feel that urge to want. Plus the burning, the smell from the brewing of that coffee also smells very closely like cigarettes. You want to avoid those things and make sure that you stay away so that you can really come out clean. Now, again, those are like the best practice for people who have difficulty smoking. Others who are just like newbies to smoking can be actually taking off the smoke. I've seen people use reduction in the number of cigarettes if the persons agree. Like instead of smoking 5 sticks a day, you agree to reduce it to 2 in over 1 week, reduce it to 1 over another 2 weeks, or reduce it and then completely take you off it. That is so for some individuals who say, you know what, I don't want to be putting patches on my body, I just want to go that route, and you are ready, really ready for it, they do it with you, but with your consent that is what you want, and you are ready to let it work for you. But that nicotine patch is the most scientifically proven way to really remove that, first of all, the danger of inhaling smoke from the patients, and that works really good.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I think we have had you for 1 hour, and that's great. So thank you for coming to the show and creating this impact. But before we draw the curtain for the day, all this very from you don't just sound intelligent, you are intelligent, and you really know what you're doing. So and we are Nigerians, and we are your original owners. So what's your plan on how to get back to the country and make sure that what we are listening to now in diaspora, that Nigerians will benefit? Because some of our guys, because of jackpot syndrome, a lot of our guys who have this, they are in the Caribbean just like you are, some are in Europe, some are just scattered all over the world. So what's your plan of getting back to Nigeria and teaching this? Yeah, Okosin, Mrs. Okosin is here. Mommy, how are you doing?
Okay.
Let me send a link to her immediately.
All right. As you do that, let me attend to that question. Well, the important part of my endeavor is to make sure that I connect with people of like mind. And having met you also has propelled that aspiration very broadly and widely. I've signed up to actually come in once in a month or 2 months to come and do some talks based on health issues, and also continue to give information out to the public. So I will continue to try and come in regularly. That is on one part, to reach the people or the persons online. Offline, I am actually in contact with some education systems across Nigeria. I'm trying to see how I can be of help in terms of looking at curriculum, upgrading them to contain certain things, because most of the youths we have today, not only persons outside who are not schooling, people in the education system are even more prone to becoming smokers now, because of the feeling of that campus pressure. You want to go to the club, you want to go to so we need to look for ways to really put this curriculum into the very, very beginning of education systems to like help them quit the or not even start it in the first place. So that's on one side. On the other side, I have intentions of actually helping out in Nigeria as a practitioner over time. So that again, whether in the education private sector or in a healthcare private sector, I have the intentions of actually coming to help the country build its system in a massive way, and with the support of everybody out there who are willing to actually put in their resources and support, we will be able to achieve this. And I won't stop talking. I won't stop voicing out my concerns and my advice. And in fact, I won't stop voicing out my support to Nigerians out there, the youths who are actually having to pass through. You're muted, sir. I know you're speaking. Okay, so having to continue to support the system, because last time I saw the NDLA page on LinkedIn, which I actually follow closely, they're saying that Nigeria used to, like Africa used to be like a transit for drug dealing between some other countries like Latin America and then the other part. But these days, the consumption in that hub is becoming too much. So we need to talk to the youths. The country, the president, and the system would have put some bans on some drugs like codeine and other tramadol and other. But cigarettes, I haven't seen anybody really stood up and say, okay, you know what? Let's end this cigarette pandemic. It's a pandemic, and it must be treated as such. So if everybody is focusing on climate change, which of course I'm also part of the climate change team, writing curriculum at different top universities, we can also begin to write curriculum on cigarette smoking. It's not just putting it there that it causes cancer. It's true, it causes, but how are we really incorporating it into courses that are not related to healthcare? People coming to study business management, how are we telling them that smoking is bad? Instead of portraying that social false portrayal, especially things like Nollywood, who are acting movies portraying smoking as a way of luxury, like because you smoke the most expensive, that means you are the richest. No, these things have to be looked into. I'm not calling anybody out. I'm just saying, if we must drive smoke cessations, we must drive it with our social forces and social vices, including social media, the movie industries, the music industry, which is something that is really need to look into. The music industry needs to really look into what videos they make, how they make it, and how it's affecting our youth, our icons in music industry. We also have to sit down and decide, are we really helping the youth to grow, or are we helping to destroy them? These are all areas. Politicians, everybody needs to come on board in this massive campaign. And I am on board. I'm doing my part. I will continue to do my part. That is it for me. Thank you. Muted. Sorry.
I think I'm on board too. I'm doing my part.
Definitely. You have done massively.
So thank you, Blessing Josiah, for coming to the show. This is a wonderful teaching, and just like you said, you'll be coming once in a month. That will be wonderful to come and give us health tips. I think we'll approve that. Myself and the management will consider it and create a particular date that you will be coming, so that everybody will put it out there and make sure that once in a month you'll be here to provide us with health tips, and so that our followers and those who believe in what we're doing, they will all gain that. So thank you for finding time to come. I want to thank every other person that watched, especially I want to thank those Kimich, Dan, Gabriel, Jude, Bia Okosin, Mommy Okosin. I don't know. Maybe you are not disposed to join us today. I would have loved you to say one or two things. No, just like I said in the beginning, you remember this show, I have a co-host who is Tambari Fowler Inyata. So Tambari is on vacation, and that's why he's not here today. So next Sunday, by God's sake, Tambari will be back, and she will be fully part of this show. So thank you, Josiah, for coming. Thank you. For my people who are on Instagram, so you have seen it. Ifeanyi beautiful than the world, the whole world. Uh, Mebach, I am Kwam Kwam, Akala, Samson, Blessing, Kelechi David, Shiro, and all of you. So I can mention all of you. You are too many to be mentioned, but I am so okay. Mrs. Okosi is already here. Let me bring her. So, mommy, I was saying, what's going on? Are you not joining us today? Oh,
I was just listening to the beautiful topic. It's so beautiful, and the way he's analyzing everything. Oh my God! God bless you. God
Thank
bless your
you.
heart.
Thank
Oh
you
my
very
God,
much,
that
man.
was so beautiful because I really don't have inputs like he does. But that's why I was watching from afar. I was watching everything. If there is any question I will ask is how do we protect our young children, because this is not just boys anymore, it's boys and girls. How do we protect them from this chaos, this epidemic, like you call it? It's a epidemic. So how do we protect them? How do we, before they even get there, what do we do? Like we in diaspora, like where we are here, we are more scared for our children than anybody else. Those days when I grew up, a neighbor, when you're doing something wrong, a neighbor will chastise a child. A neighbor will spank you. A neighbor will even beat you, or you'll be afraid to go tell your mother that one old lady at the corner beat you, because your mom will beat you more, your dad will beat you more. But these days, everybody on their own. We send our children out and they just there. It's like every minute, every second, we are praying because we praying against everything. Those that used to pray against principalities and power. Come on, it's no longer principalities and power. Against drug. Drug is stronger than principalities and power or the devil himself. So I have seen this thing mess people up. How do we even, before they get there? I was discussing these things. I was discussing this topic with a friend of mine the other day. I said, how do we prevent our children? How do we stop them from friends that are doing this? Sometimes you don't know. So what do we do? What do we do? We are talking about those that are already involved. For some that are not involved, like younger kids that are still in the house with you that you can still manage, what do you do to prevent these things?
Okay, great question. Really, really important, because it's a multi-system, multi-facet system. You have to look at it from inside the house and from outside of the house. You may be able to do a lot of things within your power in the house, but outside the influence you cannot control, which are external factors. So, as an first of all, if we are looking at Nigeria, then we have to start looking at policies to control them. I'll put that aside for now. Outside here, I think what I would suggest is a community approach, a system. If it's a pandemic destroying the community, then the community should take a proactive step towards controlling it. Why do I say that? If you have a system of, let's say, African community, whereby you are able to, you meet, or maybe you have you part, when you have social gatherings, you gather together, your children know each other, and you have the same belief and the same goal. It will be more difficult for others to penetrate that system, that chain to influence. That is one on the outside part of it. From the inside part of it, exposure, how much your children are being exposed to the information. Because these days, the screen is always there. Sometimes you just look away, before you know, something would have transpired and the children pick them up. So controlling what they see is important. But because we always focus on controlling what they see, we miss guiding them on how to process what they see most of the time. Because trust me, it's impossible. It's almost impossible for you to control what they would see. But how are you helping them process what they see and what they are experiencing? How much do you talk to your children when they come near you? Like, be open. Don't be that mother or that parent that is so scary that your child cannot open up to you. Let them know that you know these things. You, like we say in Nigeria, you know what's up. You are just letting them know that, okay, tell me what you know. Let's talk about it. Sometimes you play them into saying the truth, and then you like, oh no, that is not correct. I know you all know parenting very well, so I shouldn't be here teaching you parenting. But when it comes to drugs, I strongly advise, like we do with sex education, let there be drug education. Teach children these are substances out there, and this is what they will do to you, right? I mean, adolescents especially. Let them know the impact. Give them examples. Let them see things, how it has destroyed. Like you said, you know somebody which this thing have destroyed. Let them see example. I remember when I was a kid, we used to, my mom would say, that person is a gogoro man. Oh. Just as an example, that alone, I would stay away from a gogoro because a gogoro man cannot even stand on his two legs, right? So these are examples you're not judging anybody, but you're bringing them that understanding that every action comes with an equal and opposite reaction. There's a repercussion for every stance you take. And then let them see people who are successful, who are not actually doing these drugs. And then with that, we can work. But that community part of it is something that is lacking because things are here. Our African community, it's all about, sometimes it's all about competition, it's all about show off, it's all about, which is not helping. We should be focused on the creative part of life, how to build our children. Teach them. Why not gather and show them how to do some basic skills? How to sew, how to make things, how to start a business, how to, like, let them be activities going on in these communities that engage the children so much that they would forget about others. Right? I cannot say it all. It's a lot. I know you know where I'm coming from and where I'm going to. And then when it comes to Africa and Nigeria in particular, there need to be solid policies. Policies need to be in place. Trust me, Nigeria is still very much under the protection of parents. We still have a strong parenting system, but we need the support of the external forces like the governments, the agencies, the schools. They need to put policies in place. You cannot be a school, a higher academic institution, and then you go to your cafeteria and you see young persons smoking in the public cafeteria, and they are students, and you don't do nothing about it, or in the name of you are also a no. We have to set examples. We have to let people know these are not things you should be dealing with. You shouldn't be doing this, right? This is not the path to go. These are all things we need to. The NCU, or Nigerian NUC, Nigerian University Commission, should lay out policies for starting education system. There no public smoking, no smoking in the public area. These are things we should be talking about, not just strike for salary and all that. There should be more to it, right? And even churches, should focus more on these things: behavioral therapy, things, psychological innovation, not tithe and offering every time. How are these persons really living their life outside? People do a lot of things that are dangerous to their health, and they hide it. Being able to walk through this, because somebody can just come down with a disease today. The burden is on everybody. Somebody comes down with a liver problem, the burden is on the family. Even the church will have to suffer from it. Like, we look at these things together. The hospitals should also begin to put policies in place, flyers, education system, public health education, the government. Let there be, when we were young, they do tank crying. If you want to do bulk SMS, do bulk SMS. MTN can help with that in Nigeria. Send out a test. Are you struggling with smoking cessation? Please dial this, contact this so and so number for help. People will do it and they will get help, right? So that's a lot. It's just a lot to be said.
Thank you. It's a beautiful program today. That's really good. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, Mom. You have seen today because we are missing our Tambari for vacation. So next Sunday we'll be hitting it hard with Tambari as my co-host. But today I went to the Caribbean and I got blessing old Josiah. And I think it's a beautiful program. So thank you. Africans in diaspora continue to benefit from our own. We have men who have the resources. We have everything. So all we need to do is just to take time and get them. So you are one of us. One of the people we celebrate today. Blessing old Josiah. And we are happy you are here. The greatest gift you gave us that you have volunteered yourself for us to create a program that will be coming every month to be teaching health tips here. So, Mommy, I think Mrs. Okosin, I think we have gotten something good.
Yeah, really good. I told you I was watching from afar. I'm like, wow, this is really good. Yeah. This is really good. This is not the regular me arguing of just
no. That one's teaching.
This is teaching.
Like next Sunday, we are going to do spiritual husband and spiritual wife. So,
Yeah. Thank you. But
so,
let me ask you about that nicotine. The nicotine, you said the patch. So
Yeah.
that patch, have you ever seen anybody that's used it? How does it really work? Is it like what is it that they put a patch on your body, then it affects how does
Yeah,
it
it's
work?
when you smoke, you take
I never
nicotine.
smoked though. I never so
No,
I
no,
don't
sorry.
know.
Like when an individual smokes, sorry, it's release. You take nicotine that goes into your blood and all the effects. So the volume that goes into your blood is like a pop. Is very much. And one thing is it takes about 10 to 20 seconds for that pop to go high up, right? So, but in 2 hours or thereabouts, it's also washed out. You go low again and you want more. So what nicotine patch does is that they put the nicotine in the patch.
Did you say in 2 hours?
Yes, about 2 hours.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the whole cigarette things would have washed out from your blood and you start craving it again.
Oh,
So
wow.
when you have a nicotine patch that has that nicotine, the doctors can prescribe it, and then what you need to do is just put it somewhere that's highly vascular, that has blood vessels. It has micro needles. You cannot see it. It's like brush. So when you put it on your skin, it absorbs the nicotine at a controlled level instead of smoking it. So it keeps you at a moderate functional level. You don't need to smoke, and then that can help you to keep cool from all those anxiety, withdrawal, and all those problematic activities that come with the withdrawal. So you don't smoke, but you are getting a little bit of the feel. Over time, you can reduce the volume. The doctors will reduce the volume of the on the patch, and then you can carefully tamper off smoking. That is how that works. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. I heard about it, but I don't smoke, so I never tried that.
It's great.
okay, thank you, Allah. I'm grateful. I'm grateful, Mommy Okosin, for coming again today. You are part of this show, and you have found it interesting, and we are happy also the way you reciprocate in your gestures whenever an interesting part of this is going on. So thank you, Mommy, for always supporting and calling and coming. So blessing on behalf of the Chinedu Anichi TV and management, we thank you, and we also publicly declare that we accept your offer to come
Thank you very
every
much.
month to give us a tip. I think what we need to do is to carve a name out for it as a program, we advertise it, do flyers for it monthly, the way I do, and we will go on. I want to tell
Thank
you
you.
this our TV is moving forward very great, and you see God is bringing people who really value positive things. I have stuck to this educative content, so no matter how slow the growth appears, quality will always bring number. It's a question of time. So, and that is what I believe. And the way the thing is going now, we are not far. We're not far from a greater global announcement. So, and I'm very happy that many of you are part of this as now that is growing. Because the problem we have with our people is that they will not collaborate, they will not support, they will not be part of you until you are globally announced, and they will bring and they will start bringing what they call come and say, I am this, I am this, I am your brother, I am, all those kind of things. So today, that we are still at this level, part of you. CNN started like this, not even as good as this. Al Jazeera started not as good as this. And other great shows, you see, Fox News and others. And people were there when it was started. And references were made to them when they were globally announced. So I want to thank you people who are participating at this our level. And I promise that God and history will be fair to you when we are globally announced at a higher echelon. I know it will come. I know it will come.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it. And thanks to the audience for giving our listening ear and following up our discussions. You will see me again very soon by God's grace.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, thank you.
I'll
Thank
take
you.
it back now.
Yeah. Mommy Okosin, thank you. Um, yeah, my people, you have seen it was a great outing today. We had Blessing Josiah from the Caribbean. I brought him today and he talked about the dangers of smoking cessation. And you see, he broke it down. Psychological approach to it, social approach to it, medical approach to it. He gave it a holistic appraisal and analysis that if you ever listen to this show or you listen to this show after now offline, you must have reason and cause to say Chinedu Anichi TV. Thank you. And with that, we'll be drawing the curtain for the day. Remember, we'll continue to show up on Instagram at Chinedu Anichi TV, on Facebook at Chinedu Anichi TV, on YouTube at Chinedu Anichi TV, and other social media platforms. Please, 8 p.m. Nigerian time every day, 1 p.m. Central American time, 2 p.m. Eastern American time. Always be here. I love you. Go out today. For those who are still in the daytime and those who are in the night, have a nice day. This is December. I will make a post on that, but we have entered December, the end of the month. Take time. Take it, JJ. Take it, JJ. You know, what 2024 did not give you, 2025 can give you. This Christmas is not the only Christmas you will see in your life. So take life, JJ, and God will surely bless you. I love you all. See you tomorrow. God bless you.